coast to coast, it's your hosts, the Lombardi Leap and Mersey FB. This is Beyond the Frozen Tundra.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, the Lombardi Leap, here with Mersey FB. We are talking about the Senior Bowl. It was a pretty good Senior Bowl, especially for the defensive side of the things. Although a lot of people really want to talk about the wide receivers. I don't care about the wide receivers. We got our wide receivers.
Yeah, not for this cycle, at least. I'll talk about wide receivers next year when I think we're going to at least take like one.
It would be such a Packers thing to do, though, to take one this draft. And it would frustrate. Absolutely.
Yeah, well.
They should, like you and I both said last episode when we were talking about, which just got uploaded the other day. Sorry about being a little late, people. Technical difficulties, they do happen.
But technical difficulty gremlins got us badly.
For once. We made it 46 episodes without any issues.
And they said that was too many issues, or too many episodes with no issues.
They're like, here you go. Got to throw a wrench in there. But we're back here. This one will be uploaded on Friday appropriately. Senior Bowl is actually really big for the Packers. They draft a lot of players who are Senior Bowl standouts. They interview them. They love their Senior Bowl standouts a lot more than they love their Shrine Bowl standouts. And they, like, when it comes to just who they draft to, a lot of them end up fitting their metrics in terms of I know they say they don't know what RAS is. They joke about that. That's what Brian Gutekunst joked about. They know what it is. They use something very similar to it. And so as we kind of build, I'm looking forward to both of us building like our potential top 50 and then potentially the Packers top 50 here. But as we kind of go into this year, like we're going to start with one of the biggest areas of need, or I should say the second biggest area, or one. It really depends on who you ask. Defensive line room. We know. We talked about this last episode too, just when it comes to the Shrine Bowl. We know they need a defensive tackle. They need bigger bodies in there, especially with Jonathan Gannon coming in, being your defensive coordinator here. He is used to coaching them at Philadelphia. First guy, Grayson Halton out of Indiana.
No,
guy you really
Oklahoma.
like, right? No, Oklahoma. I don't know why. Why did I think Indiana?
Because he's small and that was the entirety of the Indiana defensive line.
That's fair.
Yeah, I really like him. He first popped up to me during the college football playoff. I thought he played really well against Alabama. And then he kind of followed that up in the Senior Bowl, stood out all week during practice and then in the game as well. He's more of a pass rusher. He's a little compact at 6'2.5" and 293 pounds. He understands leverage as being the smaller defensive tackle. The issue with him is that he can get moved off the ball in run defense by double teams because he's a little lighter. Like he's sub 300. But I think with an NFL weight room, you can get him to 300, 305.
So do you think this is kind of like a Carl Brooks replacement here? I know that's one of the things we've talked about is just how much money Carl Brooks is due, and that kind of makes him a little bit expendable here.
Well, yeah, I think Grayson Halton's a better pass rusher than Carl Brooks, or like more of a natural pass rusher from the three technique.
Okay. Kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you kind of seeing? Like, I really haven't watched too much of him. I personally have been kind of avoiding the three techs, even though I probably should get into them a little bit more, just because if they do ixnay on Carl Brooks here or Colby Wooden, like they are going to need another three tech guy potentially. They're going to be drafted. Like, I'd like them to see them draft too as well. Who are you kind of seeing as NFL comp for this guy?
My NFL comp is kind of a hybrid between two guys, Braden Fisk and Omar I cannot speak tonight. Omar Norman Lott. Yeah. Braden Fisk and Omar Norman Lott. Like, he's a kind of a hybrid between those two guys.
You have to explain that, because I loved Braden Fisk. Did not like Omar Norman Lott.
He is a very similar style of pass rush between those two people.
Okay.
He, I think, is built the same way as Braden Fisk, right?
Yeah. I mean, Braden Fisk kind of, I would joke and say like he ran like a toddler because of his short arms
or short legs. You don't run.
Yeah, no short arms and short legs. True, that is fair. But yeah, like that's just kind of that's the vibe I got from Braden Fisk. But
Braden Fisk is 6'5" on what planet?
He doesn't seem like it. And it's because of his arms and legs. Like, it really is.
But going back to that comp, he's built similarly to Braden Fisk. but he's not quite the same pass rusher. But I think he's a very similar pass rusher to Omar Norman Lott. And then like he has a similar like kind of run defense skill set as Omar Norman Lott, but isn't quite built like him.
Okay. And
then so he's like the perfect hybrid of those two people.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I mean, like I said, I liked Braden Fisk and like Omar Norman Lott. This would be a love-hate relationship for me. This next guy, Benny Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get this one right because I watched him quite a bit. I do like him as a 3-tech here, especially. I think there's a lot to like here. I like his frame. I think he's pretty solid at run defense here. He was doing pretty well getting in the backfield to Senior Bowl, especially. What did you kind of like when you saw him here?
Yeah, I liked him for the same reason you did. On one-on-ones, he kind of popped throughout the week, and then during the game as well, because he actually did play. He's 6'3", 296, so again, sub 300. But you can get him there with an NFL weight room. I believe he has the frame to carry an extra 10 to 15 pounds and carry it well. He really knows hand placement and shows a good bit of bend to get through guards as well. And like you said, like
a little unrefined
for
at
sure.
times, I would say.
But the motor stands out as well. His kind of relentless effort to play.
Yeah, he does. And that's I think that's a Harbaugh Michigan thing because, this is Harbaugh's first or second year not there.
Second year not there. So that he would have been a part of like the recruiting for him.
So so that is just that kind of that mentality there that Harbaugh had. You kind of see. Who are you kind of thinking NFL comp wise?
Well, you pulled the comp for this one, for this guy.
That's right, I did.
And I would agree with it.
Old Malik Jackson.
Super Bowl winner Malik Jackson. Don't take that away from him.
No, that is true.
Underrated piece of that Broncos defense.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, like Malik Jackson was a little bit taller, 6'5", but 285 pounds there. That was his kind of thing. He, like Malik Jackson has kind of the same rating, went the same round that I thought Benny should go to, which I think is kind of funny. So I have like a 5th round grade on Benny, and Malik Jackson just coincidentally went in the 5th round.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that.
I think that's pretty appropriate there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are just some play styles there too that you kind of like, and overall, I would love. I think this is probably one of the few like later round guys. Like I would like them to go. We're not talking about Hunter here because his play. And now this will be my like side thing on it. We're not talking about Lee Hunter because he's probably gone. Like Daniel Jeremiah has him as a 1st round pick now, and Daniel Jeremiah is really in tune with where the league's at when it comes to a lot of the defensive, a lot of the players and boards. And very rarely does Daniel Jeremiah get a player's range wrong. And it looks like right now that Lee Hunter absolutely just played his way into the 1st round at the latest early second. So
same reason we're not talking about like Caleb Banks either.
Yeah,
because he also did
exactly.
Well, but
yeah, both those guys. I mean, I would love Lee Hunter. Don't get me wrong, love him. I think he's an awesome player. Would love to have him. Unfortunately for the Packers here, played his way out. I think Malik Jackson is one of those guys, though, where he's a 3-tech, where if they go a 1-tech early, and I hope they do, a 1-tech with upside, somebody like Darrell Jackson Sr., who we talked about, who did get to play in the Senior Bowl a little bit.
Yeah, I think he was there for one day.
He was, yeah. I would love Rashawn Benny in the 5th round as as that 3-tech, because I do think you're getting more value there. And just a lot of the similar strength to Malik Jackson uses his hands, leverage. Like I like the way he uses his hands a little bit better. I do think the technique, like I said, needs to improve. But overall, it's very similar to like Malik Jackson was when he's coming out. I would be a big fan of this pick in the 5th, and I know that a couple of the people I've talked with too have been like, "Hey, you should check this guy out more." So I did.
Yeah.
You have a couple other guys.
I have one guy who will go through in detail, and then a couple two who I'll just kind of like honorable mention. I brought up Caleb Banks earlier. If you miss out on Caleb Banks, I think this is the guy that you want to get later on in the draft. Cameron Ball. Very similar physical profile to Caleb Banks. Strong run defender. Showed some flashes of pass rush moves in one-on-ones. You're going to have to sit and develop him for a little bit and kind of have him play a specific role early. I would comp him to Jordan Phillips.
Okay.
So if that gets a sense of...
I definitely think...
how he plays.
I definitely think he can come in and just be a 1-tech.
Yeah.
Right away. You know what I mean? Like he can definitely be the the nose tackle that we're kind of missing here. I mean, just to kind of give you some stats on him too. This past season, he had like 14 solo tackles, no sacks, no forced fumbles, no interceptions. He played 5 years. He did have 1.5 sacks the year before, 22 solo tackles, 24 assists, and I mean, a little straight. Definitely still young in the game, even though he's played 5 years. Like, didn't really do much 2021, 2022, outside of like 9 solo tackles, 22 assists, 1 sack. I mean, you get some pass rush upside there, but overall, like you said, there is some pass rush development that needs to happen. And you said it yourself too, is that you think you can teach pass rush, right?
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm big on is being able to teach pass rush. If you have a good
defensive line coach.
defensive
And I
line
think we
coach.
do. Yeah. Where do you see him getting drafted?
He's going to be a late day 3 pick for sure. Probably 7th round, maybe 6th round. So
And if they go a 3-tick early, this guy can be more of the 1-tick later kind of.
yeah,
I
he'll
can
be
see that.
Cam Jackson, the DT out of Florida last year. He'll be a similar range as him.
Okay. Oh yeah, I liked him. I liked him a lot coming out too. Not gonna lie. Who are your? I know you have some honorable mentions here. Who are your honorable mentions?
So my honorable mentions of players who I think I did well this week in practice were Zane Durant and Nick Barrett, a defensive lineman from Penn State and South Carolina, respectively.
Not to be confused with former Packer Nick Barnett.
Yeah, Nick Barrett.
It is Nick Barrett.
Zane Durant
smaller
is
guy.
kind of like Carl Brooks if he was more powerful.
Oh yeah.
Nick Barrett looks like he's like passed the eye test this week. I would use him more as a 1-tech, maybe 3-tech, but he was very rotational in college. So both of these, he'd require more development. I just thought he did well in practice. Like, let me pull up his measurements.
Nick Barrett
6'3",
is
315.
22.
Zane Durant is 6 foot 290. So
Zane Durant is so Zane Durant, you know who Zane Durant does remind me of a little bit?
hit me.
Like this is gonna sound weird, but kind of like the inverse of LVN. Like if
Oh.
LVN like played at defensive tackle. You know what I mean?
If he played at defensive tackle. But I see part of like the appeal with LVN was he had the freakish length. Like
Yeah.
Zane Durant doesn't have that. Like his arm length isn't the same as LVN's. You know they practically cloned him again, by the way, right? Like Max Llewellyn is very similar to LVN.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I didn't even
Like height, weight at least.
about
But obviously not getting the first round buzz.
that. Well, I mean, the Packers they reached on LVN. Like they did.
Mhm.
Like we can agree on that. But I don't know. Like I know that I should say this. I know that like when I see LVN do inside moves and stuff because they'd run like the cheetah packages and stuff.
Yes.
It reminded me of what Zane Durant does.
Huh.
Like that just a very similar style there. So that's just why I say like the inverse defensive tackle version of LV, or I guess more compact version. This NFL comp is slowly falling apart in my mind as I'm saying this.
Okay.
Basically, the only similarity is that when LVN does his inside rushes, it seems very Zane Durant-esque, or I should say Zane Durant rushes in a very similar manner inside a defensive tackle like LVN does. That's just kind of what I see there. I know it's a weird thing to say. I do really like the stronger Carl Brooks thing. The comp here, I do think that's very appropriate. And Nick Barrett, I haven't watched too much on him at all. But, I mean, 6'3", 320, 315. That's not bad at all.
Mhm.
That's kind of Warren Brinson-esque right there.
Yeah, but he's very rotational through his time at South Carolina.
Who's your NFL comp for Nick Barrett?
I haven't thought of one yet.
Haven't thought of one yet? I did a quick look and just to kind of I wanted to check and see what other people were comping him to. They said Dean Lowry.
Oh boy.
Yeah, which
Woof.
depends on yeah. Depends on how you feel about Dean Lowry. Like,
Dean Lowry was more
decent
of like a
rotational
defensive
guy.
end though. Like he was more of like a 3-4 defensive end than like an actual defensive tackle.
I mean, he's had a pretty good career though.
Unfortunately, robbed Devontae Wyatt of half his rookie season. Won't get a.
That is
that
true. That. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, there's definitely a lot of solid D line prospects here, DT prospects in particular, and that is absolutely what we need. Cornerback room. Oh, we're talking about this because we always have to talk about the cornerback room. When do we not talk about the cornerback room? whether we're complaining about it or talking about cornerbacks we like.
Yeah,
I feel like we talk about the cornerback room
we
a lot.
do talk about it a lot. Gutekunst was on record today saying that we do not need wholesale changes at the cornerback room, and
He's lying.
everyone is entitled to their opinion. So I'll just say that. Unfortunately, his opinion carries a little bit more weight than mine because he's the general manager and they do not pay me for my opinion. But
They could. They should.
we would do such a better job. Um,
But I guess I get that. I saw a lot of people blowing up on Twitter, and they're like, "I can't believe he's not throwing people under the bus." Dude, no GM and coach is really gonna
Like, not
realistically
on a
gonna
presser,
throw their
no.
players.
Like, he can't just say, like, oh, Keyshawn Nixon is terrible. His ass is gone. Like, you can't say that.
Yeah. No, you cannot say that Keyshawn Nixon is terrible, and I'm gonna cut him tomorrow. You can't say that to Pro Bowl Keyshawn Nixon.
Anyway, we're getting back into the corners here. There were a few standouts from Senior Bowl.
Yes, there were, and there's a couple guys you like more than I did. Like you're a big Dalen Everett.
Big Dalen guy.
Like, even though we're both Georgia guys.
Big Dalen Everett guy. I think he'll be a top 50 pick after the combine.
Really?
Yeah. Well, he's gonna run a 4.4 at least.
That's true.
People will be like, "Oh my god, a corner who runs a 4.4, who's 6'1", and has long arms."
Add it to the list.
Yeah. His zone instincts are getting better throughout the year. That's where I kind of thought, if I was going to project him into an NFL scheme, I would want him to play in zone more than in man coverage.
Hey, that sounds familiar.
Yeah?
Packers play a lot of zone. Packers play a lot of zone. I just hate getting burned by Georgia corners. No pun intended there.
Yeah, so, I mean, had Eric have stayed healthy and kind of developed properly, then we might have had a different conversation. Like, Tyson Campbell's been great.
That is true.
Kamari
He's
Lassiter
Brown now.
has been great.
Dude, Kamari Lassiter.
We're going to ignore Keely
Man.
Ringo because he doesn't exist. But Darian Kendrick, too, has played well. So,
Things are turning around, it would seem. So I'll trust it.
yes.
I'll trust it.
Yes.
Who do you comp him to?
Man,
I know my comp for him.
off the top
And
of
even though
my
I'm
head,
critical of him.
actually, I'll say a quick aside. Throughout watching most of the Senior Bowl practices, it felt like all of the corners were unnecessarily grabby, and they were only getting their hands up to grab the wide receiver. No one was really getting their hands up to swat at the ball or try and block the passing lane. So that was just kind of my nitpick from watching the practices.
And that is one of the reasons why they talked about the wide receivers so much too.
Yeah.
But about these corners specifically here, I feel like he's a longer build DJ Reed.
Okay.
That's just kind of what I see there. I see a lot of similar characteristics that he did, especially at Georgia.
Mhm.
Again, I know I've been hypercritical of Georgia corners. Hard to believe, I know. But when some of his best moments, I do see a longer build DJ because DJ Reed's a shorter corner, like he is. But Everett does a lot of similar things when he does it correctly, and a lot of it too is just it's going to be experience and just additional coaching here.
I'm trying to think of who I would comp him to.
I know we've talked about Eric Stokes, and I know some people said potentially he's like an Eric Stokes as well.
No, he's better zone instincts than Eric.
I was gonna say he did have better zone instincts there. I've been progressively warming up to the idea of Dalen just because he seems like he's a better mover than Eric Stokes was too. From
Yeah, more
sideline to
fluid
sideline
hips for
versus
sure.
lateral.
I think I would comp him to Jamal Dean, maybe.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's really good. I do really like that. I really like that comp.
Yeah, Jamal Dean.
I think that's an appropriate comp there. And you think he's gonna be there at 52, Dalen Everett?
Maybe. He should go top 50 because he's been a leader of that defense. He's a smart guy. Gonna run a 4.4. You see what he's done on tape.
I don't think he was in Daniel Jeremiah's top 50. I think he was just outside of it. I think he was I think he's in 70 or something like that. That's gonna be interesting to see. The combine will probably help.
The combine will help raise his stock for sure.
But I mean, you just don't know because it's not a great defensive end draft. People take pass rushers, people take O linemen, a lot of defensive tackles. So it is going to be. It's a little harder to predict these corners right now, just because there are some good guys. And another guy who I really like last year, again, this has been a trend. He surprised me at the Senior Bowl. Davidson. Oh my goodness, I'm going to try and say his last name. Igban Osun.
You want me? Yeah. So you almost got it. It's Davison Igbinosun.
Igbinosun.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hooked on phonics for some of these.
Well,
guys
just
last
wait
week,
till
I
we get to
swear.
the offensive episode and you have to try and say Max Ionicor.
Nope, not gonna do that. Not even gonna try. But for Davison, last year he went back. I was glad he went back. This is gonna be a similar story to Dominique
Just like
Jackson,
the
but
opposite.
there's more. Yeah, but there's more of a happy ending. Like he's an ideal frame that I like. 6'2", 195. He's athletic. He was very disruptive at the line of scrimmage. He's a physical tackler. I I did not question his effort. Like that's one of the biggest differences. I never questioned his effort. I questioned his technique, and I thought, come on, dude, like be better, be better. Like you went back to school. I thought you'd be better. And he goes to the combine, and I'm like, oh, where was this
Senior Bowl, not
all
combine.
season?
Combine's in a couple weeks.
Sorry, Senior Bowl. You got to the Senior Bowl, and I'm like, oh, like why weren't you doing this all year? Why were you so happy hands and
Yeah, he was one of the least
get-
grabby corners at the Senior Bowl, which felt like a pleasant surprise from the regular season. So
yeah,
Perfect.
and I was absolutely shocked at that. And I think I watched a very, very athletic pass defense too on in like one-on-ones and stuff. I know I like on here I put originally I put Michael Davis as my NFL comp. I changed my mind. I really had to think about it. I like him more as AJ Terrell. Like AJ Terrell's long-armed, physical outside corner. AJ Terrell's around 6'1", plays well in press coverage, can handle larger wide receivers. I mean, not necessarily the elite speed. I think Davison has a little bit better speed there, but the physical prowess, the style there on the boundary. I mean, I see a lot of similarities there for him, and I think that that's a type of cornerback that we do need. We don't. I don't know. Do we have one of those on the roster? I don't think so.
no, a press man guy, not really. No.
Well, just even a big physical guy, unless you think that Nate Hobbs can play outside, which I'm hoping he can. But because Nate Hobbs is 6'1", around 200 as well.
Yes, he is.
I just got sick and tired. I just get sick and tired of seeing Keyshawn Nixon get bodied. You know, and that because it happens all the time with him. If he doesn't get his hands on somebody perfectly, I want two actual boundary corners. I want two 6'1" guys out there, two 6'1", 6'2" guys. Like, could you imagine Davidson on one side and Nate Hobbs on the other, and then Bullard in the slot?
Yeah. I mean, they'll both tackle
Like
on the outside. That's
both tackle. I like the athleticism there, and I definitely think he'll be there at 52. He might even be there maybe he'll be in the third. It's going to depend on his combine, but I definitely think he'll be there.
he'll be there in the third. It's whether or not he's there in the fourth.
I don't see him going in the fourth
Yeah.
at all whatsoever. This next guy, though, is one of my favorites. Hands down, no question asked. I want him on this team. If I could draft him yesterday, I would. I've been a big fan of him I was a big fan of him last year. I was a big fan of him the year before. I've talked to his ear off about him a couple times. Malik Muhammad.
Yeah.
Malik Muhammad. And maybe you can explain this to me. I don't understand why people don't like Malik Muhammad.
They think he's skinnier than 185.
Well, they also said that he's not the greatest athlete.
Okay. Oh, okay, right. So here's kind of it. He measured in at 5'11" and 7/8, 183, and they weren't exactly sure the type of athlete he would be. It's his combine is going to kind of reset everything to where he should be if he runs well.
Which I think he will.
Yes.
I think Malik Muhammad is one of the cases very similar to Kamari Lassiter. Not saying he's going to be the same type of player.
Kamari
But
was
what
more
I mean by
physical,
that is
for sure. Like, and that's another thing
Yeah.
is the physic or the way he plays at his size is kind of like you don't really want. He's not really tackling all that much. Like he can and will, but he just doesn't do it.
Yeah, and I understand that. And like I said, what I mean by that is even if Malik Muhammad doesn't necessarily test well, I still think he's going to be an excellent player in the NFL because he puts up excellent tape. Like I think this is one of those things where okay, combine, whatever. What does the tape say? And the tape says that he's sticky in coverage, he's competitive, and he can mirror routes really well.
Mm-hmm. Like he had 5 missed tackles this year. Fortunately,
some of that,
PFF doesn't give you like a missed tackle rate, but
And some of that too is I think it's just I don't like Texas's coaching. I think it's bad. I think that's clearly evident by how they perform as a team and why they have him as that guy, whoever their head coach
Steve
is. I can't think of his
Sarkisian.
name off the top. Yeah, I don't like him at all whatsoever. I don't think he's a good coach. I don't think he's good at developing players. I don't think he's good at developing NFL talent. I think if Malik Muhammad went to Georgia, we'd be having a completely different story.
probably.
Like you would be talking about him as being a first round pick, in my opinion.
It's kind of like I don't know. My main thing with him is just teaching him how to tackle through people and not just kind of wrapping your arms around them and then like praying they stop moving.
Yeah, that's fair. But if there's no window to throw,
True.
don't have to tackle. Don't have to tackle, and I'm perfectly fine with that. And he immediately comes in. He's like your CB2. Like that's the reality of it. I kind of get. I really liked Cam Taylor-Britt coming out. I have a very similar vibe here for him, just kind of in that regards. And ironically, Cam Taylor-Britt is also a free agent this past offseason, coming off of a down year. So there is that to think about. I think that right now they graded him out at like a 3rd and 4th at one point, but I expect him to hit the 2nd round. Like that's just kind of where I see him ending up.
Okay.
And then this last guy on my list, who I really like too, but I don't even know if he's going to be there.
It's
Chris Johnson.
It's a coin flip whether or not he's there.
It is. It is a coin flip because on one hand of it, like he ran, I think almost 20 miles per hour at the Senior Bowl, and people were like, I don't know if somebody said to me, I don't know if he's fast. Like, what are you talking about, man? That speed's on tape. Like Chris Johnson is your prototypical, I think, corner right now. Just around 6 foot, 195 pounds long. He's such a smooth athlete, and I think the biggest thing about Chris Johnson is just his IQ, man. Like the stuff he does right now, like it's what you see from some veteran NFL players. Like the way he uses the boundary as another defender. Like there's just stuff that I see him do where I'm like, that's an NFL talent. That's a NFL veteran move you're pulling right now in college. Now, granted, he did go to San Diego State, so you're gonna question whether or not the competition was there. I don't think I really don't think it's an issue. I know you'd mentioned Tyson Campbell earlier. That coincidentally is kind of my comp for Chris Johnson. I know I know Chris Johnson's comfortable in man coverage. Again, another guy who mirrors really well, which if you can mirror really well, again, this was in the Hafley defense, so maybe Jeff Hafley will end up taking him. Watch. The Dolphins.
Hey, they need corners badly.
They do need corners.
With Chris Johnson, for me, like you can argue level of competition until the cows come home, but like at some point with good players, it's just not going to matter. They're going to play well no matter where they are.
Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah, the long speed was a concern on the tape at least. I know the Senior Bowl. There was photos out there of the Senior Bowl how they posted like the top speeds from so and so day or from like the days of practice. Chris Johnson was up there. He reached around 20 miles an hour, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's another point we'll talk about when we bring up Jacob Rodriguez in a minute. Where was I going? I thought Chris Johnson had a bit of a rough first day, but was able to kind of battle it back, and all of the things you brought up as well.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of an exposure thing too, and some of it did seem jitters. Like that's kind of what I think there, but big fan. If he's there again, like between him or Malik Muhammad, I would take either of them. Night and day. I know you mentioned Jacob Rodriguez because I do think we need to talk about linebacker here because this is actually a pretty solid off-ball linebacker.
It's a really deep off-ball linebacker class.
I was hard on Jacob Rodriguez. I will admit.
I was a little out on him as well. Then I watched the tape, kind of realized that this dude rocks, and then
he is a bit faster than I expected.
Understood the concerns as well. Definitely the combine's going to be big for him to see where he, in fact, like what he does actually run, and teams will be waiting on that as well. Mm-hmm. So a little bit of backstory for Jacob Rodriguez, recruited to Virginia or Virginia Tech in 2021 or in 2020, one of those schools. During the 2021 season there, as his freshman year, he played quarterback, but kind of like the Taysom Hill quarterback role where he was like catching passes, running the ball, like throwing it. He was doing everything. He then transfers to Texas Tech and becomes a linebacker and is arguably the best linebacker in the nation in his last 2 years. He forced 10 fumbles and like 7 interceptions over the past 2 years. And what stands out to me about Jacob Rodriguez is the football IQ.
Yeah, that is astounding. It really is.
And like he's a little undersized. He's 6'1" and 1/8, and he's like 233, so he's a little small. But a lot of the linebackers in this class are small, like CJ Allen, Anthony Hill. Those are smaller guys for sure. But going back to the football IQ, part of what makes like every step Jacob Rodriguez makes is the right step, and he reads plays so well because of that former quarterback background. He actually goes through the progressions with the quarterback. Have you seen that on film? he'll be sitting in his zone drop, and then he'll just be following the quarterback's eyes, like, oh, he's going left. Oh, wait, now, the only guy open is to, like, the flat. Let me break there. So that's part of...
Yeah,
also, like, getting through blocks at his lighter size. He does that really well, too.
Yeah. Like, Jacob Rodriguez has a lot of stuff you like in a good football player. Like, he may not be the biggest, he may not be the tallest or the fastest, but I mean, that IQ is there. He knows his assignment. He does it well, and he gets there. And he's a dude who gives 110% every time. Like you can just tell that he is like, I'm gonna find out where there's a will, there's a way type of a player. And I mean, like you said, you do see the limitations, and that's what's really gonna be interesting is how he tested the combine. I was kind of surprised at his long speed at the Senior Bowl,
right?
Because he was one of the fastest guys there, fastest linebackers especially. I think what I'm going to be interested to see is that lateral agility. But I mean, looking at the tape again, I don't know. Like I because he's so smart, I'm not sure that the lateral agility is necessarily going to be one of those things that's going to hinder him career wise.
At some point, like you have to acknowledge that the tape is the tape, and like this is going to sound like a really high praise. I don't think I've watched a linebacker's tape that is as good as his in a while. Like,
yeah, I mean the IQ.
Like shit, I think his tape at least is better than Jahad Campbell's was, and Jahad Campbell was a first round pick.
Whoa. So who are you comping him to?
So this is where part of the athletic limitations and everything kind of play a role.
He's about to say Luke Kuechly, guys. I'm just kidding.
So he processes the game similarly to Luke Kuechly. But he physically is not Luke Kuechly. So there is that caveat. Also, one more side note, like he will have the odd missed tackle, Jacob Rodriguez, just because of his frame, but he'll still make contact with like the running back like 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage on a screen because he's just there that quickly because he understands where the play is going. My comp for him is kind of a hybrid between Sean Lee and Logan Wilson.
I can vibe with that. And if that's the kind of player you get, like, I think you're more than happy, to say the least.
This guy is on your team for like 2 to 3 contracts. And then by the time he hangs it up, you're like, hey, you want to come coach linebackers for us?
Absolutely.
This is the type of dude you're getting when you draft him.
Yeah. Incredibly smart player. I think where do they have him graded at right now? Like a 3rd or 4th too?
PFF? PFF has him at like 97.
Oh, they moved him to the top 100. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll pull it up right now.
That would be a crazy Packers pick. Pick him in the 2nd. What? It'd be wild.
He's 90 actually. He's ranked 90th on PFF.
Yeah, I haven't checked that in a while. That's interesting to see.
Like if I read you some of his grades from this season, it's just insane.
It's got
like 94.8 run defense grade, 92.3 coverage grade. Average depth of run tackle is 2.8 yards past the line of scrimmage. Missed tackle rate, 13.9. So that one's a little higher. But like 27 coverage stops, 2nd in the country among linebackers with 300 snaps. 43 run stops, tied for 7th. 3 forced incompletions.
Yeah, that dude plays ball. Plays it well. And
on top
another
of
guy
all
who
the
showed
turnovers that he got, like he's so good, dude.
The ball production there too. Another guy who I like really showed up was Kyle Lewis. He's out of Pitt. This is definitely more your guy here, especially. I didn't really come on to him until the Senior Bowl here, but I will say this, I won't spoil it, but like spoil anything else. But dude, that sideline to sideline range is so good.
Yes,
it was so good.
Yes.
Like I'll let you take over the rest.
Unfortunately, I think he's going to be like a sub package will linebacker or like a nickel defender because he is like 5'11". He's really small, but he's got long arms, which is a good credit to him. The sideline to sideline range is incredible. He's very good in pass coverage. In the one-on-one drills against running backs in Mobile this past week, he was getting interceptions on those, and those are not stacked in your favor as a linebacker.
Oh no, they're not. not
at all. And so he was not only accurately covering the running back, he was picking off the passes. So his coverage skills are pretty good. It's just like it's the size is the issue, and he's like a hilarious outlier.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see like where he fits in general. Like I know you said he's kind of a will linebacker. I've seen him comp to Eric Wilson a couple times, and Eric Wilson is kind of a goofy scenario. Eric Wilson played really well for the Minnesota Vikings this past season. And he had these like weird streaks with us where he would have these really awesome games. So like getting comp to Eric Wilson, I think is a compliment. There's a longevity there in the career.
Yeah.
Who do you kind of see him as though?
I mean, Eric Wilson is kind of like the linebacker-ish comp, but if you want to go like more like nickel defender, he's kind of like a bigger Jalen Petrie.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, I could see that.
It really just depends on where you think you can view him. He's gonna have to go to a creative defensive coordinator. Almost the same conversation we had with like Harold Perkins, but
Harold Perkins, yeah.
Kyle Lewis is just a better athlete and has better coverage skills than Harold Perkins. So
yeah, that'd be better. Yeah, that would be a lot more upside there. And I mean, Jonathan Gannon did some weird stuff in Arizona. So if there's a guy who could get creative, it is definitely him. And man, I know we talked about a lot of guys here, but like when you break down these rooms, like I do think that this is a draft that's very suited for what the Packers do need. They need defensive linemen. They need cornerbacks here.
They need a linebacker.
They need a linebacker. Yeah, specifically, I think they probably need an off-the-ball linebacker here.
I honestly too I don't think of the years that I've been really into the draft. So like the past 5, I don't think I've changed my mind on a player quite like Jacob Rodriguez. And now I like really want him on the team badly. So
I will admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong on Jacob Rodriguez so far.
Me too. And but I've come around. He is like LB3 for me. Or
it's gonna be interesting to see what happens there and how the draft board falls, especially. And like I said, I'm not going to be shocked if Green Bay doesn't come away with 4 to 5 players here from the Senior Bowl. That's what they typically do. They love their Senior Bowl players. That is all for this episode. We will talk about offense. We will. It might be like a 10-minute episode. I'm kidding. We'll always find stuff to talk about. But back next time, talk about the offense. See you guys later.
To Packers fans coast to coast, thanks for going beyond the frozen tundra. We appreciate you tuning in. And as always, go Pack Go!